You're listening to Season 7 of the award-winning Homemade Matters podcast, brought to you from the West Midlands in the UK.
We're just a regular family of 5 on a home education journey, and we want to share our journey with you and encourage you on yours. So thanks for joining us, and here's this week's episode.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
My name's Luke.
And my name's Eden.
And welcome to
Homemade Matters.
Season 7.
Episode 11.
Episode 11, yeah.
Season 7, Episode 11.
That rhymes. And it's a windy day outside again, isn't it?
Yeah, there was like a monsoon almost earlier.
I know, there was like a super heavy downpour.
Yeah, it was like someone had dropped a bucket of water out of the sky everywhere.
I know. The leaves are almost off the trees, aren't they?
Yeah, but
It
the one
opens
outside
up
my
your view
window.
quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, but means I have to be more careful in the winter because everyone can see through my window.
True.
Which is a shame.
So we are recording in your bedroom.
Yep.
And, well, we're into the middle of the second lockdown.
Yes.
Lockdown 2.
Lockdown 2.
So we haven't really got much outside broadcasts to do.
Yes, but we've got lots of inside broadcasts.
Lots of inside broadcasts. Something that was really unusual this year was fireworks night.
Yeah, I mean, we thought in our neighbourhood especially, everyone was celebrating it, you know. Like, it was a lot bigger celebration than it usually is.
So maybe if you're listening in the UK, maybe you noticed it too, that more people were setting off fireworks.
Yeah, like,
so it was really, really big, wasn't it? And our local council, Dudley Council, decided to do an extravaganza. So they did a professional scale fireworks from a number of locations across the borough, didn't they?
Yeah.
So that everybody could see it.
And one of them was Willowscope Park.
One of them was the park, which is right over the road from us. So that was really, really good.
Yeah,
and
it was just so amazing.
They were broadcasting live from, like, music, accompanying music on Black Country Radio.
Yeah, it was just so good.
Which you've been on, actually, in the past, haven't you?
Have I?
Yeah, when in your choir performance last Christmas, with the big choir, they recorded it for Black Country Radio, didn't they?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a spectacular fireworks display.
Yes.
And Mummy took a video, actually.
It was amazing.
And I've taken the audio from the video. And so here is the fireworks display. What else did we do that night then?
Oh, me and Ash, it was just so fun. We had a fire. Me and Asha ran around up and down on our patio just, screaming, looking at the fireworks, screaming with joy, looking at the fireworks.
It was really good, yeah. We lit the fire pit, which actually was something we reclaimed.
Yeah.
That was somebody had just abandoned earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And I bent it back into shape.
Yeah, bashed it back into shape.
With my big vice. And then that's perfectly serviceable fire pit. So we had the fire going, we had
marshmallows.
We had mulled wine.
Glow sticks.
You didn't have mulled wine, Mummy and I had mulled wine.
Sad.
It was really good.
Yeah.
So that was a really memorable fireworks night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was really good. And we watched Blue Peter before, and that was fireworks themed too.
I know, yeah. So that was pretty good.
What next?
What are we going to do? So we've been just following our regular routine. We've just finished weeks 14 and 15 since our last episode.
So we're doing a new term of books.
So we're trying to get to 18 weeks by Christmas if we can, which will be halfway through our academic year.
Yeah.
And one of our rhythms is the Hymn of the Month.
Yes.
From Ambleside. And so I've been recording those recently on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So this month's hymn, if you're listening in November 2020, is I Sing the Mighty Power of God.
Yeah.
Which is a good one.
Yes.
I've just learnt the one for December, so I'm going to record that soon and get that ready.
Yeah.
So if you are a hymn follow her. Follow the link in and on our website.
Yes.
Or just follow the link and you can listen
Follow
to
the
them
link.
there. So what's some of the things we've been doing this year? So we're still in the Victorians.
Yes.
Now, are you up to the Crimean War, did I hear?
Yes, we've just done the Crimean War.
So tell us about that.
Well, it was where Florence Nightingale was, and it was quite funny because it started over the church quays, but there's actually a number of events that were like the fire to light, and the church quays were just the match.
That's quite often the case with big international events.
Yeah.
So when was it?
It was in the 1800s.
Late 1800s, was it?
Yes.
And who was involved?
Well, it was Russia, I think, France, and England.
Yeah.
But they fought it in Turkey.
Right, oh, okay.
So, yeah.
And what are some other memorable things you can think about then? We'll get onto Florence Nightingale in a minute, but apart from that.
They didn't have any, they fought it for ages and they got quite cold.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get supplies out and they had really bad hygiene.
Yeah, that's good.
And, yeah.
It was not good that they had bad hygiene.
Yeah.
That's good remembering. Have you heard about the Charge of the Light Brigade? So that, because that was a famous episode in the Crimean War. The Light Brigade were a light-mounted cavalry, and it was a very famous charge.
Yeah.
And there was a famous piece of music that went along with it.
Cool.
Maybe that's something we could look up.
Yeah.
What else about the Crimean War? So tell us about Florence Nightingale, because you've been learning about her as well then.
Well, she had got all the wounded soldiers there, and she was home educated, and so, but she helped make good hygiene and nursing, which we follow today.
Now, wasn't there, and because she kind of got all the praise and fame for that, but wasn't there another person,
Mary Seacole?
Mary Seacole, who's less well known. So tell us about Mary Seacole.
Well, she wanted to help in the wars, but they wouldn't accept her.
Why not?
Because she was black.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which was really mean, I think. So, she paid for her own money to go over to Turkey, and she helped the wounded soldiers there too.
Wow.
Yeah, so she was really amazing.
Yeah, that does sound really good. Really good. So we've done, so they're still working through the Victorians. Anything else
Yes.
Victorian you remember from the last couple of weeks? Any more inventors or anything?
Well, we've been learning about the Blue Death, which is
I was going to
really
get onto the
interesting.
Blue Death book. So, a fascinating book is called The Blue Death. And what is that about?
Well, it's basically about cholera, but it's got so many of the same things like COVID.
So, cholera was a really infectious disease that was
Yes.
really affecting people at the time.
Yeah.
So, tell us what you've learned so far from The Blue Death. And what are some of the parallels then that you're seeing from this year?
So people theatres and things closed in some of the lighter cases.
Snap, yeah.
It came over from the same place where they think COVID did.
Okay.
And no one knew how it spread. People had to stay in their homes.
All sounds very familiar.
Yes, and people didn't necessarily fear death because death was really common in those days, but they feared how they died.
And what was bad about cholera then?
It was really disgusting.
Was it a really painful death?
Yeah, it was a really painful death because your eyes sunk into your body and the blood sort of drained out and the whole body sort of caved in. And it was really disgusting.
Oh, that's a bit gruesome.
Yeah, it's gruesome, but, you know.
So have you finished the book?
No.
You're still working through it?
Yeah, we only just started it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, well, that's really exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
learning is always exciting, but it's funny how often history repeats itself, or we can
Yeah.
learn lessons from history.
And it's so funny how people didn't know how it spread, you know. So even though we don't know about COVID, it still follows the same sort of disease line as everything else.
Yeah. Fascinating. So,
Yes.
The Blue Death, we highly recommend it.
Yeah,
Well worth a read.
it is a bit gruesome, but
It's
we
a bit
haven't
gruesome.
read most of it.
Well, that's true. Well, if that's turned your stomach, then we'll have a little break. Why don't you go make yourself a cup of tea?
Eat some popcorn.
Or whatever hot or cold drink you like, and we'll be back in 1 second.
You're listening to the Home in Matters podcast.
Hasn't actually been a second to us.
Not literally been 1 second.
Yeah, it's been a second to us, but it hasn't been a second to you.
Because of the magic of
Editing.
editing. True. Right, second half. Why don't we talk about some of the crafts we've been doing? So you've been doing quite a bit of origami actually recently.
Yeah, I have.
So what is origami?
Origami, it's a Japanese art of, it started in Japan, of folding paper into things.
Okay, so what kind of things have you been making and how have you been going about it? How do you even know what to do?
I looked up some videos.
Okay, good way of learning.
On Safari, and they were all on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I learned how to make a whale, though it was quite hard. But
Okay.
the last bit was quite hard because you had to use scissors on that.
I liked how you'd drawn the eyes on the whales, by the way.
Thank you, yeah. And I also did a dog,
Okay.
and the dogs are better really than the whales. But it's when I was making them, you don't really you think that it's really hard, and then suddenly you're at the end and you realise you've made something.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think as you've done more practice, do you think you got better at it?
Yeah, I do. So I've practiced making them a couple of times.
And I can see an origami box there and an origami book. Are they from the same set?
Yeah, they are. I haven't actually made anything out of that. No, the origami box is for flowers, and the
Okay.
origami book is Star Wars origami.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
Star Wars origami.
And it comes with special paper and everything.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, maybe your challenge is to make some Star Wars origami. That would be so good.
Yeah.
I'd really like to learn to make Star Wars origami.
Yeah.
Star Wars origami.
Starigami?
Star origami? Star Wars origami?
Starwagami.
Well, that also ties in with our artist study, though, at the moment, Hokusai. Obviously,
Yes.
studying a traditional Japanese form of woodcuts, as we talked about in
Yeah.
our last episode. So that's,
Good.
in line.
Yeah.
We've also been working hard on your diamond art.
Yes.
So if you haven't come across diamond art, how would you describe it to people that don't know about it?
Well, they're really tiny, tiny bits of plastic that almost look like diamonds. And you stick them on a piece of gluey wax with a special pen thing, and you have to put the wax on the pen, which we didn't notice at first. And then there's different sorts of beads which you put on each bit.
So it's kind of like a bit like painting, a cross between painting by numbers, sort of like
Colouring by numbers, you mean?
hammer beads, almost similar. So it's quite pixelated. And so you and Asher have both got some really big pictures that you're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
So what's your one?
My one is a Harry Potter one, which is really cool.
So there's a code on it each square, basically. The squares are only kind of a few millimetres by a few millimetres, aren't they? Wide.
Like the side of a flea.
Yeah, they're really
maybe?
small. Fleas are, I think fleas are even smaller than that.
Oh,
But
maybe a mustard seed then.
so, and you, it's a lot of hand-eye coordination and patience.
Yeah, it takes a really long time.
So you've both been working really hard in your downtime.
Yes, but Ash is doing a lot better than me because he's got more patience.
He's really good at being task-focused.
Yeah, I get bored of things easily.
Well, you do lots of different things. So what's one of the things you do, though, so our routine, so we have quiet time over lunch where you do processing in your rooms and just hang out, do whatever you like.
This is what we're doing right
Yeah,
now.
it's currently quiet time. We're sort of breaking a quiet time rule. And then after quiet time, we come down and usually listen to things, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And that's what we do our diamond
That's
art.
when you're doing your diamond art, yeah. And what Shakespeare play did you listen to, the whole one, the other day?
There's actually two.
Oh, well, you listened to two?
Yeah, well, one of them, The Tempest, we listened to while we were doing our COVID boxes, and we were only supposed to listen to the third half, but in the end we just listened to it all.
And then what was the second one?
And then while we were doing diamond art and jewellery and just chilling out in the morning, we listened to... it was in the morning. We listened to the whole of 12th Night.
So these are on our, these are, I guess, read alouds but we often use audiobooks to help us with our read alouds, and we do some kind of craft alongside it. It's all very calming, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a nice way to chill out in the afternoon, and then we go and be crazy in the garden.
Yeah, it's good balance, really, of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's quite Charlotte Mason, doing bits and bobs.
Yeah, I really like having quiet time. Me and Ash used to hate it, but we really like it now.
So, speaking of going crazy in the garden, you and Asher, on your nature studies recently, have been learning all about taxonomy. So what's that?
So it's when you sort of name plants and animals, and we've been learning about fungi and mosses.
Yeah.
Fungi.
And so what have you been learning about fungi and mosses?
Well, we went on like a fungi hunt, and we found at Willowscope Park, we found some fly agaric.
Yeah.
And loads of other little mushrooms actually, and we found lots of moss in the grass there too.
So what are different types of fungi?
Well, there's fly agaric obviously, and then there's loads and loads of types. So they've got like yellow stone, I think, and there's like different types of mushroom, and they don't need light to grow.
Yeah, they're pretty clever, and that's why they sometimes were called like fairy rings, because they grow up overnight
Yes.
and come up in the morning.
And,
What other conditions are conducive to the growth of fungi?
Well, there's a particular temperature, and if they are growing at that temperature, in the atmosphere, well, that's my watch saying it's 12:30. They can double their size in a day.
Wow.
If there's that particular temperature.
And is that the same for all of them, or is it different?
I think it's the same for all of them. Could be wrong about that though.
Yeah. I wonder whether they might be a bit different. Who knows?
Yeah.
It'd be something to look up.
We've been
And so, how have you been identifying the fungi?
and moss. Well, it doesn't actually identify moss. We've been using Seek on our phones.
So there's a special app called Seek.
Yeah.
And that's
It's
like
really
a nature
good.
app, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can you have to get all the dots on it, green dots on it, and then it will show you species. And there's loads of challenges you can do too. But Mommy doesn't really do the challenges. She just does the actual identifying.
The identification.
Yeah,
so you
but
kind of
me and
hold it.
Asher
It's
do
kind
it.
of got access to your camera, and the dots you're talking about are when it's kind of thinking about whether it's got a match, and then you take a photo, and it
has
kind
a
of
match.
records it. So it's
Yeah.
a bit like an online I Spy book type thing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So you've been using that's been fun. So you've been going around the garden and
Yeah.
going out to the local parks and things.
Yes.
And tell us about moss then. What's moss? And what moss and lichen, are they a bit different to fungi?
Yeah, they're different to fungi, so they use photosynthesis. And I think and fungi don't use photosynthesis.
No.
Yeah, but I did a thing about moss and about how they were used for bedding, and they're really absorbent.
Absorbent.
Yeah, it's really hard to say.
Like sphagnum moss is very absorbent, isn't
Yeah, and that sort of moss is used in nappies, in olden days nappies,
Yeah.
which was funny. And there's such a thing as eco-graffiti, where moss is grown into a particular shape.
Ah. So yeah, you did a little study on moss and lichen, didn't you?
Yeah.
How did you express that?
Well, I cut out loads of little things, which was in the call book thing, which Mum printed out, and then I made it into a
Display.
poster.
Yeah, like a project poster.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yes.
Spending time outside. You've actually been helping me in the garden a bit as well.
Yeah.
So last weekend, we had quite a lot of jobs to do in the garden.
Yeah.
So we were do you help me with the polythene, didn't you cover that up?
Yeah. Even though you did most of it, because I was afraid that there would be spiders in it.
True. We dug up more potatoes.
Yes.
Still got a couple of rows to go.
Yeah. I need to get them up.
I think we've probably have we got most of the apples up? I mean, you picked up hundreds of
Yeah.
apples.
With this summer. I think I did notice that there was some more.
There's still a few more. They must be the last few because we've had a lot of really blowy weather. And actually, because of the blowy weather, what did we have to mend yesterday?
The polythene, and we were doing it in a storm.
I know, yeah.
So it was just
I had to put extra eyelets
distracting.
into this. We've got a polythene cover, a big tarp that covers the chicken run. And last weekend, because it had got ripped off in the last storm, so last weekend I put a load more eyelets in it along the ridge. Look, there's a kestrel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, is that a buzzard?
No, it's a kestrel.
Oh yeah.
The kestrels are much smaller.
Yeah.
And they've got a different shaped tail.
Oh, that's so cool.
But they're also a raptor, bird of prey.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd only loosely put it on last weekend because it was really still, but then the winds picked up this week.
So we
and I was also trying to work out a way of how to tie the extra eyelets around the ridgeline and things like that.
Yeah.
So then yesterday lunchtime, we went out. It was windier than we expected.
Yeah, it was just proper stormy.
It was actually quite breezy.
Yeah, but it was breezier today, even though it's really sunny now.
I know. Well, anyway,
it was like monsooning earlier.
So the top is all even more secured. So we've given it far more points of contact to the frame, which means it can't billow as much. And when it billows a lot, it's when it rips the corner.
Yeah.
So we've used paracord, haven't we, to tie it on. So that was good jobbed.
Yeah.
We needed to do that. That was it felt a bit like Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
The girls helping Pa.
Yeah, except it's
to
usually
look after the animals.
Usually just me helping you, though.
Well, Bella's only little.
Bella's only little.
Asher likes mainly just going and collecting the eggs and things like that.
Yeah, boy, he doesn't even like the eggs now.
He loves the chickens, though, doesn't he? We do love our chickens.
Yeah, he loves the chickens so much more than me. Well, I love the chickens a lot, but he goes and does them every day, you know. And sometimes we go into the chickens and say, "Hey, chickens, we're giving you some love."
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been such a blessing. Hey, how's your new hamster?
Oh, she's doing really well, yeah. I cleaned her out yesterday. She kept on escaping out of her ball.
I know, yeah. Pixie.
Pixie. She is a pixie. Well,
she's different colouring to Luna.
Yeah, and she's a very naughty pixie. Because she does very gentle bites. And so they don't hurt, you know. But still. And she keeps on escaping from her ball. And she managed to tip herself out of the cauldron.
I know, yeah, she did.
Which we put her into while I was cleaning her cage.
Not a real cauldron, not like a witch's cauldron, just like a pretend one.
We were definitely not boiling her.
Couple more things. So, your groups that had all restarted have gone back online.
Yeah, but
So, it's particular drama though. That was like you did the full 2-hour drama slot.
Yeah, and it
on
was
Zoom.
amazing.
How did it go?
It was really good. So it was like a session. We used breakout rooms to do our thing. Different acting, and I was really impressed with Beck. She spent she was doing 4 hours on Zoom. An hour, 3.5 hours.
Because she covered more than one group.
Yeah, she does both.
She'd organised it. Yeah, so that went really well. So have you got that again tomorrow night?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, oh, that's good then.
And there's one on my birthday too.
Exciting.
So, and it's the last drama too, so we have a bit of a party.
A party,
each.
Yeah. Well, we do hope you're doing okay wherever you are.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pandemic is still, at the time as we're recording this, pandemic is still going on, and we're in another lockdown, and I know that they've been different around the country, so
yes,
we do hope you're doing okay. We do hope you are able to stay healthy and that your mental well-being is okay as well.
Yeah.
I hope that in some way our podcast is helping cheer you and encourage you, and we do love hearing from you, so please get in touch. All of those details are coming up soon, but in the meantime we will be back in a couple of weeks. Do you know,
thank you,
in a couple of weeks time it's going to be December.
In a couple of weeks time there's an even more important occasion than December.
Is it somebody's birthday?
Yeah.
How exciting. Well,
I'm going to turn 11.
Oh, goodness me.
Yes.
That means you've been doing the podcast since you were 5.
Wow. 6 years.
So funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we will be back in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes.
And we'll see you then.
Thank
in
you.
a virtual sense.
In a virtual sense, you don't see us, it's a podcast. But if you watch it on YouTube, then you might see a photo of us.
Yeah. See you later.
See you later. Bye. Bye. You've been listening to the Homemade Matters podcast. We love hearing from you, so email us to homemadematters@gmail.com. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Homemade Matters, and visit our website at www.homemadematters.co.uk. If you're enjoying the show, please leave us a review wherever you listen, like Apple Podcasts, Stitcher or Spotify. Thanks for joining us and enjoy your homemade journey this week.
They say absence makes the heart grow fond. Well, I've grown quite fond of you. Some people may think you're strange, but I think I'm strange too. It's raining outside, and it's raining inside too. I wanna go home, place where I'm known, and where I know you. Walk familiar streets.